Cageclub.html is brought to you by the fine folks at the Cage Club Network. For all things movies, media, music, comics, and more, check out cageclub.me. That's cageclub.me. Hey everybody, I'm Nico.
And that makes me Kevo.
And I'm dressed like a dad running a Tough Mudder, because this right here is Sammy Jimmy Bird Arm, episode 5.
5 of 6. We're getting there.
That's like most of the Infinity Stones. That's like the Infinity Stones, if you don't forget about this one.
Yeah.
This one.
The one that they forgot about until the last movie, where they were like, oh shit, right, there's 6. It was on this cliff the whole time.
It was just napping.
With Red Skull? People buy that, right? Okay, sure. Moving on.
I touched the cube and found myself wanting, so now I've been replaced by another actor.
Who plays him? It's not Viggo Mortensen.
It's the other guy from The Lord of the Rings. Always looks kind of evil, but he's such a nice-seeming guy.
I was like, Johann Schmidt. No, damn it. That's not the actor's name.
I think his name is like Dustin Spindle or something.
Rumpelstiltskin.
It's Rumpelstiltskin.
Spindleshanks.
Rumpelspindleshanks. Hugo Weaving.
Yeah, okay. Yes. Mr. Anderson, right?
It's the sound of your inevitability. This 5th episode opened up with this sequence that set a tone that I feel like the entire 5th episode of Sammy Jimmy Bird Arm can be best described as if they took Survivor's Eye of the Tiger and they changed all the bants into who will wield the shield. Yeah. Who will wield the shield? Will wield the shield? Will wield the shield? It's me! Okay, so clearly I'm not wielding the shield right now, but this episode had a lot of stuff that I was really into. Number one, I think it's kind of funny. Like, they're trying to say that the super soldier serum gave him testosterone burnout or something, but somehow John Walker's hair got thinner in this episode at the start of the fight. Like, he looks dirty and wet.
His hair got sad after he killed someone.
Dirty and wet hair. But I loved so much of that fight. One of my favorite things was when he just went... Like, that was one of the best parts of the episode for me, because Sam is like, fuck, I gotta do this. This must have been something he was always afraid he would have to do if someone got the shield.
Yeah, and that's the thing about this episode. It is sort of dealing with the inevitability. It can be a little bit frustrating when you do know where the story is going to go and you have to sit through it and wait for it, but it's at least less frustrating than, like, the 10 years it took to get through the Infinity War.
Yeah, I don't love watching my guy succumb to the darkness. I like watching my guy wrestle with the darkness and ultimately come to a strong conclusion about who he needs to be. He can even falter to it and ultimately have to be stopped, but I can't see myself cheering encouragingly for John Walker in any way. Like, it's not just a matter of, oh, he's making bad choices. I actually don't think he's being shown as a complex character. He's being shown as a man who believes that the only way he will ever find redemption is at the bottom of a needle, and that doesn't portray him as a hero. That portrays him as a weak man who sees the only solution is becoming stronger in a way that is clearly untested. If he had turned that vial over to S.H.I.E.L.D., Falcon, Bucky, someone could have gotten it to Wakanda. Yeah, that soldier serum, which could have been used on him to make him stronger,
eventually,
did not need to be used right now. There is nothing strong about a person who says, whenever I am tested with a moral situation, I go for the explosive moment. You actually hit this on the nail last week when you pointed out that he's like, I love jumping on grenades. He likes to go for the most drastic, explosive thing right away. That doesn't make him dynamic. That makes him a victim of his explosive personality. And then the entire episode just kept reinforcing it with the slamming on the podium. I don't think that he slammed on the podium necessarily because of the super soldier serum. I think he slammed on the podium because he's the guy that's going to jump on a grenade and then brag about it.
That's just his personality. I agree. And it's not that I don't find John Walker to be an interesting character to watch, but this is what his journey was always going to be, and I would not have wanted to watch this unfold over any more episodes than what we ended up getting.
No, and I really did love this episode again. I don't know that this episode is the best episode of the series or anything. I think part of the problem is I find too many people are comparing Sammy Jimmy to WandaVision, and I don't think Sammy Jimmy and WandaVision compare. It's the same way I wouldn't compare Doctor Strange to Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Those are just not comparable entities. So here, I think my biggest complaint is that so much of this was foregone conclusion, and that's why Agatha all along had everybody so captured in WandaVision, because WandaVision, that wasn't the foregone conclusion for so many people. Mm-hmm. Now, there are still some elements of surprise, like, let's get to everybody's favorite part of this show, the Dora Milaje showing up. That battle sequence in the previous episode was tremendous, and then they sort of laid low a little bit, and then this episode was really an emotional moment, whether it was how incredibly intense their personage is when they enter a room, or it's Io's smile at Bucky at the end. Like, that was so much humanity, and if she's not one of the stars of whatever World of Wakanda on Disney Plus is going to be...
Oh, for sure.
I want all of my Disney Plus money back. All of it, down to the last number one dime.
I love that she still calls Bucky White Wolf. She says you're going to want to lay low, you're not going to be super welcome in Wakanda for a while, but she doesn't say never again. I really appreciated and needed that relationship to not be ruined by Bucky's actions in this series, because, it's been so hard for Bucky.
So hard.
And he was so cute in this episode. Okay, him flirting with Sarah was cute, but that's it. I don't want him to be with Sarah. I want him to be queer in the first place. I don't think we're going to get it, but I don't need him to hook up with Sam's sister. No, stay away from that. But, the moments that he got to have where he was flirting with her like a person, where he got to enjoy watching her sons play and feel like part of a community like that. I loved Sam welcoming him in and telling him that he was welcome to stay.
However, if they do wind up together, I will require a sitcom about it called My Sam's Sister.
Oh, something to do with Falcon's nest.
Ha!
Something like that. It'll come to me. I'll have it next week. Maybe. We'll see.
So I think it kind of goes without saying that this episode didn't just see an amazing introduction to the Marvel Universe cinematic styles, but it introduced a phenomenal actress who I just think everybody loves. And I think, she's been such a staple of television for the last 30, 40 years. I think everybody was super excited to see the Contessa played by Lisa Rinna.
I can't tell you how excited I was when I was looking into the Contessa and I found that Julia Louis-Dreyfus was not the first person to play the character in live action, but in fact it was Lisa Rinna in the David Hasselhoff film. We love Lisa Rinna.
Don't you talk about my husband!
This actually makes me kind of want to cover the David Hasselhoff movie. Like, I had never considered it before. I know that we covered the Fantastic Four movie from the 90s, but, that was because of the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
We were never really going to do any other campy old Marvel movies, but, Lisa Rinna, I don't know.
I'll do anything for Lisa Rinna.
And as if that revelation wasn't exciting enough, oh my god, the moment she walked in, we were like, is that... No.
Can't be.
No, it cannot possibly be Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Hold on, I want to get up and do it behind you. I want to do the whole dance. And then the kick. Kind of like a kick, too.
I'm just not getting up. My outfit's too.
No, that's fine. You're good. Physical comedy, folks.
Things that aren't meant to be funny, but maybe come off a little bit funny. The Carly plot is gone. It is the one thing that has become a weakness and a liability to this show's integrity. Whether she's sometimes so indigent that they are literally running from street to street in hopes of finding broth to drink, and now suddenly they have a global positioning satellite, and it's just a little too inconsistent. I don't know. It seems a little weak.
It's been coming to a head for me for a while. I have had my concerns from minute one. That thing where she's in the back of the truck for no reason and Bucky thinks that she's a prisoner. That was a weird introduction to the character in the first place, and it's been uneven ever since. And really the end of this episode where she was like, we're in Central Park and we're about to do some sort of terror thing, and she pings everybody on the app and then also does her little bird whistle thing, and then all the people that stand up as and get activated, white senior citizens in khakis and college students. It's such a random assortment. Maybe that's part of the message.
It's meant to be everyone.
Yeah, it's meant to be part of the message they're going for.
They look like a J. Crew ad. They don't look well organized. They don't look like a mob. I completely understand what you mean. They look like they're about to tell you about Pollinex, and they're going to stand up and they're going to be like, I've been freed from my chains with Pollinex. No more allergy shackles for me. And it's just not good. I think what I would have rather seen is I would have rather seen a pan through New York City of people everywhere.
I get that.
It could even be the exact same people as the people in this scene. It could be the exact same actors, but by one location, it totally de-escalated the situation for me.
We aren't really sure what we are going to get next week, so I don't know if maybe everyone being in one place is part of that.
Well, I hope they all have their vaccines.
I also don't understand the GRC vote or anything that's happening there, or whose side we're supposed to be on, or like, are we supposed to trust any of these government officials?
And I think part of my problem is, I know I just made a bit of a COVID joke, but I can't figure out why all of these people would need to be in this room. All of these foreign leaders are all in this room in the middle of New York City during an escalated terror incident in a world where aliens can come to your planet and in one fell swoop blow everything up. There would be protocols where these people are never in the same room again. Everybody would be using Stark projection technology. It's insane to me.
But you know what? I think that's one of those things where, because that isn't reality, and so it's not something that we ever actually experienced until sort of now with COVID and social distancing, that we never really thought about that. It's that thing that we talk about when you watch old TV and movies and you see a complication happen and you're like, but now people have cell phones, so they would just call each other, and that wouldn't be a problem. Now I think we're going to start seeing writers thinking, okay, well, those government officials would not necessarily need to all be in the same place. I need to think of a different plot contrivance as to what this terror attack can be. But especially because at the time, that wasn't really a consideration in the real world, I think that's probably part of where it comes from, because I really agree, especially when we have seen that technology exists repeatedly. Yeah. We saw most recently in Endgame.
Yeah.
Everybody teleconferencing, across space.
Rhodey's just like, nah, we're done with this.
Speaking of Rhodey, I hope we see Rhodey again for the finale.
And, speaking of plot contrivances at the same time, Sharon maybe being the power broker, putting Batroc in a position to help destroy Sammy Jimmy. Here's the thing I think about this. I think making Sharon the power broker puts her in a great position to have been Skrull. And we could secret invasion it, and perhaps she was taken just before the snap. And then when the snap happened, they were like, well, look, we have an opportunity. Let's do this thing. I am looking forward to this secret invasion. And the fact that it's going to be led by Nick Fury in the form of Samuel L. Jackson means we're going to have spy shit. And Agent 13 belongs in the spy shit. There's so many people that you can't bring out of the spaceship the way it happened in Secret Invasion. They don't matter. In the same way, in this universe, you need new people to come out of that spaceship. Sharon Carter, as the power broker, would make a great villain to be replaced by Sharon Carter coming off the spaceship.
I love that. It actually occurred to me for the first time really last week with Secret Invasion coming up, what a great opportunity the blip is in the story to have people replaced by Skrulls. So now that's something that I'm really thinking about a lot more. Contessa might end up being a Skrull now, Sharon being a Skrull. Either one of them could be the power broker as well.
Yeah. She could be a patsy.
That's something that I imagine we will find out ultimately if Sharon is the power broker in the finale.
Or a triple agent, a quadruple agent, something.
I don't know if we'll find that out for sure in the finale. I think we should. I'm not certain on that one. There's things that I think we'll get, and there's things that I think we might get, and there's things that I don't want at all.
I completely get that. I think my biggest concern is going to be how this is going to feed directly into Loki. It's obviously not. And I think it makes sense that WandaVision had to be switched with this, because otherwise it would have been like drama, magic. And now it's instead like magic, drama, magic. And, we know that this is going to, in some regards, connect to, in some ways, Black Widow. Spoiler-free kind of discussion there about it.
That is one of the things that I'm also the most curious about, how Falcon and Winter Soldier is going to tie into future MCU projects. Like you said, there's Black Widow, there is Shang-Chi, which will put us sort of back in the area of Madripoor. I don't know if maybe that'll be something. They released a teaser trailer for Shang-Chi this week, so I'm very excited. But yeah, I mostly am just curious to know where Sammy and Jimmy are going to end up next after this finale. With a show like this that isn't really the experimental week-by-week mystery that was WandaVision, I think we need a blockbuster finale. I would love to see the Dora Milaje again, but I don't think we will, and I think that's sort of okay. I maybe don't want to see them and Baron Zemo again before
Thunderbolts.
Yeah, no, that's the only way I could see us seeing Zemo again right now is Contessa popping in and being like, "Hey, Purple Mask, how you doing? It's fabulous. Do you want to hang out? I have boots." But I don't think the Dora Milaje really have anything to contribute unless it's something that might tease the world of Wakanda, which I would love. Other than that, I'd love cameos from someone else in the MCU. They're in New York. We could see Spidey. We won't, but we could.
I probably don't really want any cameos. I'm afraid that would eclipse what has already been such a subtle story.
I get that.
And
too.
anything that makes this not Sammy Jimmy's story is going to weaken the efficacy of the possibility of a second season. So I'm pretty anti-cameo for this last episode, but I am pretty pro new Wakandan Falcon wings. So
we'll see what's in that box. What's in the box?
What's in the box? I would be really disappointed if it's Pepper Potts' head.
God, that was so good.
Can that be the ending of the episode? Until we see some Wakandan wings and Bucky gets some bisexual lovin', you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at NicoAction. That's NicoAction. Kevo, where can everybody find you?
You can find me at Kevoreally, Kevoreally.
And until then, my hat has matched my shirt.
No, but that's okay. I still feel pretty.